What's up, guys? Mr. Huynh here, about to teach you some word problems. Day two. All right, so for this to start things, a couple of these problems are reviews. There's only 4 problems for tonight's homework. I'm just gonna go over one type of problem and then give you a clue for the very last problem. Your homework is only be 4, 5, 6, and 7. I want you to go ahead and skip problem number 8. So for problem number 4, it says a penny is dropped off of the Empire State Building, right? Which is a crazy thing to do, right? So it's dropped off a building, right? They're asking you, okay, when is it gonna go ahead? When is it gonna go ahead and strike a person that's 6 foot tall? I know right now that picture is not really drawn to scale because that person is almost, half the size. I would say the building is half the size of the person, so not drawn to scale, but just for visual references. So how long is it gonna go ahead and take to strike a 6 foot tall person? So here we go. They give you something really important right here, which is the equation. And so they tell you, well, the h is the height. We have to find out when t is gonna go ahead and exist. So in this case, right? In this case, what we need to go ahead and do is put 6 back into the height. So I would say 6 is equal to negative 16 t squared plus 1,250, right? So we can approach this a couple ways, but I'm going to approach it a way where it's a little bit more familiar for you guys. So in this case, right, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and make 0 exist on the left side because we can't solve using the quadratic formula unless it's 0 on the left side. So we're going to subtract 6 on both sides. Right, so now I have 0 is equal to negative 16t squared, right? And then that's going to go ahead and be plus 1,244. Now I can go ahead and use the function to go ahead and determine that my a is negative 16, my b, well, there's no t or t to the first, that'd be 0, and then c is going to be equal to 1,244. Right? So you can only use the quadratic formula once one side is equal to 0. Now, we're going to go ahead and put it back in. So we spoke that the quadratic formula was x is equal to negative b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And so we're going to plug that in, right? And so that's going to be negative, so it'll be negative 0 plus minus radical 0 squared minus 4 times negative 16, and my c is going to be 1,244 over 2 times negative 16. Now, simplifying this, that's going to go ahead and be 0 plus minus, and if you put that into the calculator, it's going to spit out a giant number, right? So, write my radical, it's going to be 79,616 over negative 32. And then again, put into your calculator, so I have 0 plus minus, and the square root of 79,616 is going to be actually 282 over negative 32. Now, again, if you remember from the notes from yesterday, you're going to go ahead and split it up into 2 answers. So I have a plus 282 over negative 32, and then I have a negative 282 over negative 32. And so this one, the first one, when you go ahead and divide it, that's going to go ahead and be, get my calculator, 282 divided by negative 32, 282 divided by negative 32, that's going to get me negative 8.8 seconds. This one right here, when I go ahead and divide it, negative 282 divided by 32, that's going to be positive 8.8. Now, we got to make sense of it. So they're asking you how long is it going to take? So how many seconds? So time can't really be negative because time is progressing. It's actually increasing as the penny is throwing off of the Empire State Building. So the only answer you're going to have that makes sense is going to be 8.8. And just, those who are going to go on to upper level math, any solution that doesn't make sense to the problem or doesn't make sense to the word problem, this is actually an extraneous solution. So that's not a solution that we want to go ahead and mark down as our final answer. All right. Now, just giving you guys a couple hints. 4 and 5, I would go ahead. I'm sorry, 5 and 6. I would go ahead and look at the previous assignment. Very similar, like questions like, oh, how long was it going to take for it to hit the ground, right? That was on the homework from the previous night. And what's the maximum height, right? So that's going to be a question that's very familiar. It's number 7. I just want to just bring up again. Keep in mind we're not doing number 8, but for number 7 it says Ava is jumping on a trampoline, and they give you the equation h is equal to negative 16t squared plus 20t plus 6. Would Ava so I think the question is supposed to say would Ava reach a height of 14 feet? So you're going to have to do this whole thing where you're plugging in 14 back into negative 16t squared plus 20t plus 6. Giving guys a heads up, you're going to run into a funky answer, right? So you're going to run into an answer that you're going to produce a number. You're going to be able to put it back into the quadratic formula, but you're going to notice one thing. And if you get an error at any time, and you'll know what I'm talking about when I say error or it's not possible, then there are no solutions. If there are no solutions, think about how that's going to go ahead and pertain to problem number 7. All right. The answer key is always uploaded onto the timeline. So if you have any questions or you're struggling, go back, study them, and then if you still don't understand it, contact me, and then I can go ahead and lead you to the right direction. All right, guys. Take care. Stay safe.